Just as it starts to heat up in the desert, so do the stakes in the Western Conference as San Antonio and Phoenix collide. Jordan Farr has been one of the best goalkeepers in the league in his first full season for SAFC, but the same can be said for Ben Lute and Phoenix, where Rising are looking to get back on track. It's the last game of the night in the USL Championship, and it's next. Two of the best in the Western Conference collide tonight at Wild Horse Pass as Phoenix Rising plays host to San Antonio FC. Tonight's Teacher Appreciation Night is brought to you by Four Peaks Brewing Company. With Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for joining us. And as we look at these Western Conference standings, Phoenix some ground to make up as those top three have started to create some separation, but San Antonio, it's been a great start. 21 points through 8 games played, trying to stay on the heels there of the Switchbacks in first. But looking at this Phoenix Rising team, it just was not a good night in LA on Sunday.
Get the bad news out of the way. You give up 2 goals in the opening 15, 3 in the opening 45, add a red card in for good measure, and yes, it was poor. Character on the backside of it, though. They showed some resilience coming down the stretch, down to 10 men. You take that as a quality characteristic if you're Phoenix Rising and Rick Shuntz. The good news is there are only 3 back-to-back losses in team history. They hadn't had this occurrence happen since 2018. History does not usually repeat itself in the form of a loss.
And for San Antonio, only 4 goals allowed, but they scored 6 last time out.
They've done it in such a wide variety of ways in terms of rotation, Josh, and I mean that in the sense of the 11 that are on the field. Once again tonight, in the 9 games this team will have played, they will have not started the same starting 11. They call themselves the mentality monsters, that no matter what, we're going to suck it up and find a way to put at least one more ball in the back of the net compared to the opposition. And yet, they've done it all with 9 different players occurring an injury of some sort, including guys like David Loera, Santiago Patino, Traore, all of these guys that are regularly making impacts within the starting 11. They're not there, and yet still, they're off to the second best start in team history.
Now, this is sure to be a fun one. Phoenix and San Antonio, they've been great over the past few years, and we'll be right back. Lineups and first kick on the other side, the 2022 Phoenix Rising season, presented by Equality Health.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business of making you happy. We believe buying a car should be something that gets you hyped up, that you should be empowered to shop when you want, where you want, wearing whatever you want, and that your new car ought to come with newfound happiness and 0 surprises. So we promise that we'll treat you right, we'll put you in control, and all of us will stop at nothing to drive you happy.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Equality Health is giving doctors more time to be doctors, so they can give you the care you deserve. Ask if your doctor is part of the Equality Health Network today. Equality Health. Caring is back.
Tonight's match is brought to you by Carvana, NAU, Four Peaks Brewing Company, and Arizona Federal. Looking at tonight's starting lineups, we'll start with Phoenix Rising and Rick Schantz.
The changes that he brings in should allow for a more forward-thinking philosophy than we've seen from Phoenix recently. Epps and Mo are back onto the front line. Greg Hurst will move into a more centrally located role. The midfield three remains unchanged. Left back spot is one to keep an eye on for Babukar Jai and what he's capable of. Can they maintain balance in the absence of Darnell King, with Joey Calistri slotting into right back position?
And Joey Calistri, he is our Pacific Office Automation player to watch, of course, filling in at right back tonight for Darnell King, who is out with the red card suspension. And on the other side for San Antonio FC, you've talked about how fluid they've been with their starting 11s.
9 games running now, they will run a different starting 11. One of the only teams in the entire championship to do so. Shannon Gomez will join his compatriots. The other 10, are unchanged from last time out. They want to try and make sure that they can turn this over consistently. They had trouble playing in behind Phoenix Rising the first time out. Expect them to be more vertical to try and stretch the game than previously expected back on April 2nd.
Tonight's referee is Kalin Radisov. Phoenix Rising in all red, and it is San Antonio FC in all white as we get things underway tonight from Wild Horse Pass. Thanks so much for being with us. Always a great atmosphere here in Chandler. And for Phoenix Rising, looking to get back on track after that 3-0 defeat against Los Dos, as Calistri already gets to the end line. Is headed back centrally. Phoenix starting out here on the front foot, coming off that 3-0 loss. On the other side for San Antonio, a 6-goal performance. What a performance that was against Monterey Bay, a club record 6 goals. And you feel like this San Antonio team, I don't know if they really ever went out of form, but they have been in great form really all season long.
Addressed it a little bit coming in on the different lineups being used, and of course the clean sheets they've been able to keep. Versatility is a word that's tossed around a ton, and so you have to find a way to be dynamic outside of all of those changes, and they've done that. Whether dropping down into the trenches or being the aggressor within a match, this San Antonio squad has been great all season long. I understand that for some people the sample size might be quite small, but what you have to look at is the continuation really from what they put forth last year. Western Conference finalist, a real true identity. Then you add players like youngster Nicky Hernandez. Of course, you get veteran striker and someone like Elliot Collier. Bring Shannon Gomez over. This team has gotten better than the 2021 output that saw them just 1 game shy of going to the title match.
Carvana corner kick is sent in and immediately put right back out of play. Carvana, proud sponsor of Phoenix Rising. Carvana will drive you happy. Be a low driven ball right towards the top of the box. So this taken by Sejas. And again, deflected out of play. 3rd successive corner kick coming for Phoenix Rising. Here is Aiden Quinn again, this time a driven ball in, looking for Epps. Sejas tries to take it on the volley. Calistri, this trickling towards the end line, and this will be out for yet another Phoenix Rising corner kick. Already 4 in 2.5 minutes. Pretty much straight off the opening kickoff that Phoenix got into the attack. Been in the attacking third ever since. The 4th corner kick now. Put into a good area, bouncing through. San Antonio trying to get this clear. There's Calistri to put it back in. Cross coming in. Looking for Epps, his header comes back centrally, shot comes on, and this just wide, but that is good sustained pressure here from Phoenix right off the bat as we take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by Spooner Physical Therapy. We talked about the injuries, Patino, Traore, and Manley, and Traore and Manley both started in the early April game between these two sides, the 2-0 win for Phoenix Rising. That's the lone blemish on the record for San Antonio, and Jordan Farr said, and we have a bit of a chip on our shoulder knowing that we're going up against this same Phoenix team. Here's Epps again. Low ball in. San Antonio just trying to get some time on the ball, but it won't come here. Calistri steps up again. Calistri to the back post. Right back into the middle. Epps, and that's Hurst. And he had it blocked down. Another good chance there for Phoenix Rising, and finally out for a goal kick. But look at all this pressure from Phoenix.
Just about to say, you're approaching the 5-minute mark, and already there have been a couple of looks against this back line that is scrambling, to say the least. And I like the fact that it's coming from multiple angles, right? Some open field play for sure, dead ball situations, sustained pressure, though. It's much different than what we saw on the road at Los Dos last weekend. You have to wonder, to be a fly on the wall, if you will, within that conversation after the match. I thought it was interesting that Rick Sean said to us that he felt like overall it wasn't a terrible performance, that they obviously made a ton of mistakes, and you know, that they were better as the game went on. I would agree that they were better. The argument would also be that the visitors were on, or excuse me, the home squad, it seemed like a visitor again compared to how the game went. They were up 3-0, so they had the luxury of not attacking as much. But it's a true gut check in those situations when you're down to 10 men. You've given up a couple of poor goals, and usually it's been a result of your own lackluster performances. I commend them for pushing through, and then the quality start here.
Now a free kick for San Antonio. This ball driven in towards the back post. Loon able to see this go out of play. We talked about it right off the top, but these two goalkeepers, as we'll take a look at this first. This one just straight out of play, right off the chest there of Farrell, but a foul called. But going back to these two goalkeepers, two of the best in the league, there's no doubt about it. Some of the saves that Lunt has made this year, the same can be said for Jordan Farr, up there in saves and clean sheets across the league. There really won't find many better. Maybe Kyle Morton would have something to say with Lou City, but aside from that, these two have been top quality. The left side now. Mowar cut off. Lunt, of course, those big saves a couple weeks back, and of course Rick Sean's very pleased with him. And Jordan Farr, it seems like he's flying through the air to make a save every single week. And this San Antonio side, we said they can score a lot, as they did last week with their 6 goals, but they have barely conceded any. 4 goals this season. Of course, 2 of them came against Phoenix Rising on their home field. Now they'll come on the road looking for some revenge. Another low cross in, falls for Epps, and his shot off target.
The statistic that always gets me about this San Antonio squad, it was very relevant last year. And as mentioned, as they've kept the core group within this team and added a couple extra pieces to it, is the willingness to give up so much possession within the game. I mentioned how they have such a true identity. Well, that identity rests on the fact that they will sit back, sustain pressure, because they are efficient once they go the other direction. Right at the bottom of the barrel for the amount of passes attempted. Their accuracy certainly not at the top, and yet still pretty much top 10 in every single statistical category on the offensive side, whether it be goals, shots attempted, of course the conversion rate right up there as well. Those are the most important things. Who really cares how much you have the ball, as long as you are clinical with it once you move the other direction.
Here comes Phoenix again. Mowar onto his left foot. It looks like that last came off of Mowar. It'll be out for a goal kick.
They're really good with their confrontation. San Antonio defensively, in a lot of situations you'll see them try and move their line high. Now that certainly has not been the case 9 minutes into this game. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. It certainly does when you come to visit Phoenix Rising. But within that, they make you make mistakes. That's part of not having the desire to need the ball all of the time. The philosophies that rest under that man right there, Alan Marcina, can date back all the way to his time under Bob Lilly when he played for the all-time winningest USL championship coach.
Shot from distance is gobbled up by Ben Luntz, and it's interesting hearing some quotes from Nicky Hernandez. He said, "We want to be ruthless. We want to show we're in first place for a reason and almost prove ourselves right that we deserve to be in this spot." And that's a player that's, of course, on loan from FC Dallas, and seems like he's getting up to speed right away. Hurst trying to keep that in. Definitely came off his hand, but it's a throw-in. Maloney, who has started every single game so far this season. Here is Hernandez looking to play it infield. Lambert stepped in. Now Quinn. Jai trying to hit the long switch. Too much north and south there, right at Jordan Farr. But to your point a few minutes ago about how these teams like to play, Phoenix almost 1,000 more passes so far this season than San Antonio, and yet they've yielded the same number of shots on goal. So there are very many ways to play this game, and you see it from both of these teams. Another in-swinging cross, and this just a little bit too tall and bouncing out of play. San Antonio haven't had much of the ball, but they've created a couple of good chances.
Take this into consideration as well, that Rick Schott said for this team this year, maybe they wouldn't need the ball as much. So that statistic gives you an even broader idea of how much it means to them possessionally to be on the ball, San Antonio. It's not how much you have it, right? It's what you do with it once you actually start to maintain some possession. They're one of the best in the business in that category. It all starts on the back line where you get the back three, Tainer, Kamiri, and Garcia. They spread themselves really wide, and so usually their opposition, they have trouble tracking. Poor turnover.
And now a chance coming here for San Antonio. The dummy to let it run through. Lute makes the save, and he keeps it out. There he is again, popping up with a massive stop. And here goes Phoenix in transition. Sejas leads the break, slides it through for Moar. Moar, it's saved by Farr. How about those goalkeepers? A great save on both ends. We talked about these goalkeepers for a reason, Devin.
I mean, you got to understand how good this leave is as the ball comes back across. It's a terrible mistake by Rodriguez. Just plays it. A little bit of a hospital ball. Love the dummy here. Great vision by Collier. And you expect better out of PC. It's right at Ben Luntz. Still a lot to be done. And then how quickly can you transition? That defensive confrontation I talked about for San Antonio. With that high line also comes risk. Vision just as good for the Venezuelan coming the other direction. Santi Moar expected this to be the coming out party, but denied by Jordan Farr.
And right back to it, another chance coming, but the flag is up for offside. We expected some back and forth nature to this game, and we are getting it 12.5 in.
Credit to both goalkeepers on this interchange here. I mean, again, I go back to the ball that's played across. Elliot Collier and the run that he's been on could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to keep this for myself. Instead, lets it run right in between his legs. He understands that he's always going to have the trailing run. That's one of the great things about this unit, is the amount of options they provide themselves. And as it does come through, Ben Luntz set up perfectly. PC also hit it right at him. And then immediately, you look at a guy like Joey Calistri, Josh, stepping in. Would be super simple for him to just sit on the back line and hang out. Instead, beautiful ball to dissect this entire back line coming out, and they go to work.
We always talk about Joey Calistri's versatility, whether he plays on the front line, midfield, back line. Another ball coming onto the field as that one sails out. Here's Calistri. Hooks in the cross, too tall for Hurst. Wind was crashing in. Sejas recovers well. And now a shot from distance, and that bouncing into the arms of Jordan Farr.
Just watch how square he catches the ball. Elliot Collier, nice dummy. Kev Lambert. We all know he can't ice skate. They don't teach you that in Jamaica.
You sure? Cool runnings. At least that's something on ice.
My guy's the coolest kid on the block, but I don't see ice dancing in his future. Those are little things, by the way, that when you're rattled early on in a game, and San Antonio is a little bit, they've been on their heels and all the chances coming at them, some of the simpler things tend to escape you, Josh, where you would think a ball running across to PC should easily put it away.
Hurst playing it through for Epps. Epps on his right foot, and it's Farr again. Tremendous goalkeeping on both sides. This time, though, from Jordan Farr.
Really good display being put up by both goalkeepers on the other side. How good is this ball, though, from Greg Hurst? I mean, this has to have the perfect amount of pace put on it. Can't hit it too hard. Ball's got to be hit end over end so that it continues to run through. And then vintage Marcus Epps. How many times has Mitchell Tainer seen this in training? Little cut back across and then let it fly.
Quinn on the corner again, bounces through. Remember, Epps did score a late one in that game at San Antonio in April. Did not start the game, came off the bench. Gets to go right from the start tonight against his former club. Fans, be sure to get to Arizona Federal Credit Union to get your Phoenix Rising debit card. It's a great way to support the team, spread the word, and you can score $100 when you get one. And I've got to say, it's the coolest looking debit card I've seen. Visit ArizonaFederal.org/Phoenix Rising for more information. As Dylan takes this on, it's blocked down by Lambert. Now Maloney clips this in, and a strong punch by Loon. He gets back to his feet. Hernandez first touch eluded him. PC Hernandez, low drive, blocked down. He has to be careful. There's something cool from Kev Lambert. Looking to find the space to play out of that pressure. Sean's talked about San Antonio's counter-pressing, how difficult that can be. As Sejas moves this along for Epps. Cross comes in. San Antonio get it clear.
This game's got problems. I mean, this is
maybe for the teams, not for the viewer.
18 minutes in and back and forth. Everybody having trouble on the defensive side of the ball, tracking runners. It's really difficult for both sides to understand where the threats are going to come from. If you start with Phoenix Rising, how many options do you really need, right? Santi Moar, Greg Hurst, Marcus Epps, Arturo Rodriguez, and as you move in transition, any which one of those are viable, yet alone the fact you get guys like Sejas coming up through, right? Aiden Quinn, who's willing to make those runs. Babacar Jai coming off the back line to account for the rotation, and that is enough. Then as the game becomes more wide open, that actually feeds in to San Antonio's mantra, what their mentality is about. They want to have as much space as possible to play as quickly and as direct as they can. We've pretty much seen all of that and more inside 20 minutes.
Abu and Garcia stand over this. Garcia curls it in, Hurst to get it clear. Alan Marcinez said coming out of that Monterey Bay game, we asked our players to attack with and without the ball for 90 minutes. He said we asked our subs to be game changers. And he said our players did all of that. And when he means 90 minutes, he means 90 minutes just based on the way that they like to play. As Gomez commits the foul. Nice little spin there in the middle by PC. Here comes San Antonio into the attack just behind Dillon. Is out for a throw-in. PC, and he's fouled, free kick. It's in an interesting position. Aiden Quinn, who was wearing the captain's armband tonight, commits the infraction.
There looked to be a little bit of contact on the beginning of this, and maybe it's sold on the backside, but right here, the arm. Again, it's not a ton, but it's right in front of the referee, and it's away from the body. Sejas and Fabian Garcia becoming acquainted with each other. And that gray area that is this distance, where if you're Ben Loon, you understand that they've got the quality from dead ball situations to have a go from this distance. They're very much about challenging the goalkeeper. Even if you can't stick one in the back of the net here, at least look for a follow-up.
It'll be Garcia, and he just puts it into the bleachers behind the goal. Luke quick to get on with it. Standing challenge, it was clean, deemed the referee. Quinn taking space, moving out wide for Epps. Epps dancing on the ball. Epps with the cross. Hurst was waiting for it in the middle. Sejas. Now it's Santi Moar. Jai. Another low cross in, bounces through. Garcia able to hook this clear. Maybe it shouldn't come as a big surprise that Phoenix out shooting San Antonio early on in this game. The last time these two teams met in April is a 21-5 shot total. I guess you could say a win for Phoenix Rising. Moar cutting in field for Epps. Leastry making the run. Now this towards goal. Maybe took a slight deflection there off Epps's foot. And a quick distribution here, but Farrell is there for Phoenix. There's some pressure there from Collier. Now Dillon joins in. Collier still going. Collier on his left foot, saved by Lute. The quick distribution from far. And San Antonio almost able to make something of it. Hurst couldn't get it off his foot quick enough. Hernandez, PC was just up ahead. Still Hernandez trying to let this run through. Lute off his line, and this just wide. Another great chance for San Antonio to find the opener. Justin Dillon just couldn't squeeze it inside that back post.
They've struggled a little bit with the depth in the midfield. It's been flat for the opening 20 minutes here for San Antonio, but this is really the first time we've seen a two-headed monster come back through. PC and Nicky Hernandez both advancing themselves into the final third. The back line trying to figure out where the fluctuation is coming from. As Dillon spins off here, it's a great job by Hernandez recognizing that one of either Farrell or Lambert has to step up into the space, which creates an opportunity on the back post. Almost tucks it home for the opener.
Is flicked along, but the flag is up for offside. And is just leaving a bit too early. in a wreck and need a check. Go on the offensive with Lerner and Rowe, the official personal injury firm of your Phoenix Rising. Make one call, that's all, to 977-1900. Getting you all the money you deserve is our goal. Hurst. Now Moar. Moar still without a goal contribution this season, whether it be a goal or an assist. Of course, coming off his 2021, where he was absolutely tremendous. 16 goals, 4 assists. Of course, he got injured in that first Open Cup match against Valley United. Trying to get back to full fitness. Not been as straightforward of a season as last year was. Out of the top of the area, this headed along and bouncing through. It's Greg Hurst for Phoenix Rising. They'll take it however it comes, and it's 1-0.
One of the better players in a Phoenix Rising uniform halfway through this first half, mostly in a restricted position. Because of those soft feet, they've been able to play into him down in the pocket, but you lose the offensive presence up top. This time around, he's smart. Watch him stay high, occupying both center backs, and yes, a bit of luck off of this. Yes, the defender in Fabian Garcia is tight, but if you're Greg Hurst with the highest of IQs, Rick Shunt says all you need is the tiniest of windows. Moar doesn't catch it clean, but the maid up top, and Greg Hurst happy to clean it up.
It's his third goal in the USL Championship this season, and we just talked about it. That should be an assist for Santi Moar, his first goal contribution of the season. And that's a big one for Phoenix, as they have been pressuring San Antonio from the get-go. And they finally get one at the back of the net and beat Jordan Farr. Now it's San Antonio who will have to come from behind. And still, they have not scored a goal against Phoenix this season, but they are on the prowl for one here, and the shot is just wide. A glaring miss there for San Antonio and Justin Dillon.
You could really look at this offensive unit and talk about 5 or 6 that have the capability, but the names that are immediately going to come to mind: Elliot Collier, Justin Dillon, Nicky Hernandez, PC, all of which have missed an opportunity inside the top of the 18, inside 30 minutes. Uncharacteristic for San Antonio.
Remember, this is a team that scored 6 last week. Their 4th highest expected goal since the start of the 2020 season. Here's another chance for San Antonio. Tough angle, is batted away. Loon able to deny Hernandez. It's a corner kick for San Antonio.
The good news is for Alan Marcino, they're not putting their heads down. The bad news for Rick Shunt is the pressure continues to mount, and they're having trouble with all of these runners once again. Look at the space behind the back line. 3v2, and yet still the advantage sits with San Antonio and the visitors. Lambert caught out, too much space in between he and Joey Farrell. That allows the ball to come underneath, and then you're playing catch up the entire way.
Abu, driven ball into the back post, bouncing through, and this headed off the line. Well, San Antonio really knocking on the door now. Be another corner kick on the other side. It's Joey Farrell to get his head to it. And they'll do it from the other side. Still Garcia and Abu. It'll be Garcia towards the penalty spot, headed down. Phoenix not able to clear this. Collier couldn't keep it in. Now a throwing back to Phoenix Rising. It's always those first few minutes after a goal where you can be under immense pressure. Phoenix able to withstand some of that pressure, at least for now. Kevin Lambert is down, and he's one of the players Rick Schantz mentioned, along with Joey Farrell and Aiden Quinn, that have just accrued a ton of minutes, a ton of distance, and keep all those metrics, of course. And it is Lambert who's down. Rick Schantz said it, they would not be where they are now without Kevin Lambert and his move back to center back. Of course, he was holding down that number 6 role for Phoenix for so long. Some of the injuries, he's been moved into that back line, and Madrid and Siebert Haugli starting to warm up. Haugli his first time in the 18. Announced as a loanee from the Portland Timbers. Out some concern here. Of course, a big week upcoming for Phoenix with a trip up to Sacramento Republic coming on Wednesday and in the Open Cup. And then it'll be the Tampa Bay Rowdies coming to town next Sunday. Next edition of the USL on ESPN. Lambert makes the slow walk off.
Really hope that's not an early change for Rick Schantz, although with the little pass off there from Joey Farrell and the clap by the Jamaican, seems to be the possibility that his night might be done.
Talking with Rick Schantz now. Does look like Manuel Madrid is putting on his kit. And it looks like he will be coming in. So Phoenix down to 10 men for the moment. And that is a big concern there for Phoenix Rising, now moving into 2 crucial games this week. And of course, still an hour to go here tonight.
Starting to get a taste of what San Antonio has gone through this year. 9 different players with at least 1 injury. Unfortunately for Rick Schantz, it's on the back line again. Of course, James Musa, though it's been quite some time since this took place, holding midfielder turned center back. He's been out. Well, the word is that his return imminent, just around the corner. And now with Kevin Lambert going out, that position just becomes that much thinner.
Hernandez running forward, able to lay this off to the right. Pass in front, and it's just too far. Another great opportunity worked by San Antonio. This just off the mark again.
How quick is this from point A to point B? It's the turnover, 3 touches, 1 ball up, 1 ball across. And just outside the mark for Elliot Collier on the back post. Great run and a beautiful ball whipped in by Justin Dillon.
There's confirmation of that substitution. Lambert is done. It's Manuel Madrid coming on to take his spot.
Pretty incredible that 34 minutes into this game, we've already seen the ball hit the target 9 times. The target, 24 shots between the 2.
These 2 teams can score with the best of them. Here's Jai. Moar. Back for Jai. Clips this up. On the turn. Oh, what a goal! It's Greg Hurst again! You talk about those soft feet all the time, and he powers this home for a 2-0 advantage.
Absolute disbelief by Jordan Farr. Are you kidding me, Greg Hurst? It's mind games at this point in time. Really deep the opening 15 minutes, starts to lure the back line out. Then what happens? He pops up high, is able to get the deflection off Santi-Moar. Now he comes back into the gray area. Not sure where the runner is supposed to come from on the back shoulder. Jordan Farr's trying to tell him, if he goes, you have to step. Instead, an absolute clinic being put on by Greg Hurst in the number 9 position.
A brace tonight for Greg Hurst in the opening 35 minutes. And now San Antonio really looking for one. Dillon, and it's saved. This still in there for San Antonio, finally swept out of play. It'll be a corner kick coming.
He's trying to pick out the far post here. Good ball by Connor Maloney, and the head up. Ben Loon knows it's only going to be one spot. Almost impossible to bring it back to the near side in general, yet alone the fact that his positioning was perfect and he had coverage defensively.
The whistle came before the kick was taken. Alan Radisov stepping in here. Be a boo, more depth to this. And the referee blows his whistle. 2 players down here for Phoenix. First one is Babu Karjai.
The argument from Santi-Moar is that there was a flailing arm. Joey Farrell is actually grabbing on that left leg, trying around the penalty mark. That's just a push through from Jasser Kamiri. Doesn't really look like he was trying to make contact. He's just lowering the shoulder, pushing through. Incidental contact, unfortunately. What might even be more concerning is Joey Farrell behind the scenes. You just hope that that one is just a little knock across the head that isn't an overabundance of caution moving forward. How soft is this from Greg Hurst, by the way, on the goal that just was in the 35th minute. Good ball in. Watch the technique. Again, he had split the midfielders, come off the back line. Jasser Kamiri doesn't track up. There's this 5-yard half space. Really good look at what he's got at his disposal. To step into a negative position, take it off your chest, pop it horizontally, and then come up over the shoulder and go the other direction. Stuff that dreams are made of. And unfortunately for San Antonio, they're living a nightmare right now.
Well, they've conceded now 6 goals all season long, 4 of them against Phoenix Rising. Get your group out for the Rising experience, whether it's family or friend celebrations, client entertainment, or employee outings. We can make it memorable for the whole bunch. So Farrell also back on his feet. Play back underway. What's the response going to be here from San Antonio, or does Phoenix have another goal in them? Here's Epps. Epps gets it out wide. Rodriguez. Crisscross searching for a red shirt. Sejas, and this one skies it all the way out of play and out of the south end as well. Another whistle. This will be a free kick to San Antonio. It's just the second time that San Antonio has trailed in USL Championship play so far this season. The other time they trailed was in the Open Cup against Austin FC. This ball sent towards the end line, trying to keep it alive. And nothing doing there for San Antonio off the dead ball. Five minutes to go until halftime. San Antonio trying to make something happen, but this is quite the response for Phoenix Rising after what was a less than stellar performance last week against Los Dos. I mentioned their record after losses. Haven't had back-to-back losses before this season since 2018. Trying to avoid that this time around after losing on Sunday. Hernandez, and there's a foul just outside the area. Like Sejas lunged in, and it's a free kick in a great spot for San Antonio.
Nicky Hernandez actually holding his head. How much is in this? Kind of leans into it, doesn't he? And that's the argument from Sejas. Have to tend to lean with the midfielder here from Phoenix Rising as he's actually moving away from the player. That's got to be the argument from Rick Shantz too. The ball is away from Nicky Hernandez on the touch. The problem is from the referee's point of view. What he's going to see is the attacker starting to go to ground and the arm from Sejas away from the body. The viewpoint is something that's always so subjective within the laws of the game. Very difficult to understand exactly what's going through the referee's mind, so you try and explain it as best as possible. Is this the set piece that gets him back in it?
Garcia and a boo. It's Garcia, and it's the same result as earlier in this first half. He just puts it straight out of play. Quality Health reminds you that next time you or a loved one needs preventive or routine care, go to your doctor first. If you don't have a doctor, go to equalityhealth.com to find one near you. Some maybe surprising scorelines from around the USL Championship tonight include El Paso Locomotive 4, Los Dos 0.
Dear Lord.
Paso has turned a corner after just an abysmal start to this 2022 season.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that would be 4-1-1 in their last 6. You know, math is not exactly my strong suit.
You are correct.
Checks out. High five.
That one loss against this San Antonio FC side, 1-0. That was, of course, after just an awful start to the season, which they lost 5 in all competitions and losing, including a 4-1 loss against League One's Central Valley Fuego in the Open Cup. Epps trying to turn upfield. Here's Hurst sitting on a hat trick now. Hurst gets it out wide for Moar. Moar fights his way in field, and Moar forces a save, and now it's saved off the line. Jordan Farr putting in an incredible performance tonight, but Moar has really been up for it. Sejas, Tainter got his head on it. Quinn keeps it alive. Rodriguez lifts this out of play. All those shots on target now, 12 of them in total, 6 for either side. The shots 15 to 14 in favor of Phoenix. They're still under 1 expected goals. San Antonio up near 1.5. This ball curled in again. Phoenix get this clear as there will be 4 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Maloney, nowhere near Ben Lutz.
Stinger.
Yeah. Stinger slice.
Yeah. Just got away from it. It's on the back foot too much. This San Antonio squad, they average right around 5.5 shots on goal a game. They're already at 6. You know, there's so much to unpack.
And they haven't scored?
No, and they're everything that's gone on within the first half. So if you start with just their performance, in theory, they've done everything right. The mentality coming in is always forward thinking. It's how quickly can you go from A to B to Z, right? Skip everything in between. Yet they've been able to do that. They've created a ton of opportunities for themselves. 15 shots they've produced, 6 of which on goal.
Here they come again. Options all around. Flipped up to the back post. Lute denies it. Bats it right out of play. It's another corner kick for San Antonio FC.
There's only so much you can do tactically if you're Alan Marcina, because you've laid out the path of how you want them to find success. Now they have to go get it on their own. Not only have they created a ton, what else have we seen? A lot of Ben Loon. That's his 6th save of the night. Last time, New Mexico United. That's how good his performance is tonight. He stood on his head the last time they came to town.
As this is clipped in again. Santi Moore was given a yellow card in that last sequence.
I would say that when you start to track back the other direction, you have to find balance for the back 3, as thin as they spread themselves within the transitional game. Keep the conversation up. Whether it's PC, Mohamed Abud, Nicky Hernandez, Phoenix Rising have done a really good job of keeping in constant contact with that man right there, the brace. 9 minutes apart for Greg Hurst, 26th and 35, just because of that space he's operating in right there. He'll drop down in, push down up. He's kept them second guessing. And then even more credit to the guys underneath him who have occupied it when he hasn't pushed in there with the pressure.
Challenge there by Jai, and then a foul committed against him. So Marcus Epps receiving a yellow card a moment ago for dissent.
Main talking point for Phoenix Rising, Josh, heading into the dressing room, is obviously going to be shoring up the defensive front, right? It's been, if the game's going to extend itself in this fashion, that's fine. But the argument from Rick Schantz has always been attacking, defending. So as we go, meaning his front line, everybody has to go together. That doesn't mean that you have to compact it all extremely deep. But you do have to reset yourself so that when the ball is turned over, you don't allow these long balls coming out. So that guys like Justin Dillon and Elliot Collier can have so much room to operate within. And that's basically the way that it's gone. So that's on Joey Farrell. Now Manu Madrid. Ben Lunt to continue the barking orders to his back line to get higher when they start to go quickly. The second you separate, it's the second you get yourself in trouble.
Little flicked header, trying to get that through. There is the final whistle to bring this first half to a close. San Antonio hasn't won in Phoenix since 2017. They haven't beaten Phoenix since 2018. And both goalkeepers have been tremendous through 45 minutes. But it's all about this man, Greg Hurst. 2 goals tonight, including 4 so far this season in the USL Championship. So we have hit halftime here from Wild Horse Pass. If you like a back and forth nature and a lot of shots, we've got it here tonight. It's Phoenix Rising 2, it's San Antonio 0. Stay with us, it's halftime.
Lerner & Rowe is proud to be the official personal injury attorneys of Phoenix Rising. Our goal is getting you all the money you deserve. When you're in a wreck and need a check, make one call, that's all, to Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business of making you happy. We believe buying a car should be something that gets you hyped up. That you should be empowered to shop when you want, where you want, wearing whatever you want. And that your new car ought to come with newfound happiness and 0 surprises. So we promise that we'll treat you right, we'll put you in control, and all of us will stop at nothing to drive you happy.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Hello, I am Jose Luis Cruz Rivera, president of Northern Arizona University. We are a proud sponsor of Phoenix Rising. NAU and Phoenix Rising have much in common. We're both building on a strong foundation of success. We are both champions in our own fields, and we both strive for excellence. At NAU, we offer the advantages that come with a higher education to all of the members of our community. We are helping our students build a bright and boundless future for themselves, their families, and their communities. Come visit us at NAU and go Rising.
Halftime from Wild Horse Pass. Phoenix Rising 2, San Antonio FC 0. Well, it's Teacher Appreciation Night here at Wild Horse Pass, so we have some of the Phoenix Rising players about some of their favorite teachers.
The most impactful teacher in my life was Mark Green. He was a PE teacher, but also doubled as a high school soccer coach. And I think just the man he is and the great human he is, it really impacted me and still does. He's still, now I consider him a close friend. So I think he's probably the most impactful teacher in my life, and I'm happy to have him in my life.
So the teacher that had the most impact on my life would be Mr. Hertig at my high school. He was my soccer coach for 4 years, so he was, a great role model. I think, playing soccer in high school, some of my best friends was some of the best moments I've had on the field. So I'm always thankful for those moments, and I'm thankful that he was able to help us through that phase.
My favorite teacher, I would say, is probably Miss Parodi from my elementary school, just because she taught me how to pursue my goals, and she didn't just teach me school subjects, but life values, life lessons, and I'll always be thankful and grateful that I had her early in my life.
A teacher that was very influential to me was my French teacher, who I was in her class for 1 year, 2 years, and then I became her TA, Miss Roberts. My name in that class was Jacques for some reason. No, it was the French name she told me to pick. But no, she was very influential to me because she taught me that, you know, it was a foreign language to learn, but I was capable to do it. You know, I just had to put my mind to it and just keep pushing to do it, which obviously ties into what I do today.
My favorite teacher was Miss Williams. She was my pre-K teacher. As I was too young to remember fully, but my parents used to say the first time I saw her, like, I was just glued to her, you know, and she was very nice, always sweet, always had candy for me, so I think that's what did it. But she went to my church, part of my family, so big shout out to Miss Williams, favorite teacher for sure.
Thank you, Mark Green.
So thank you, Mr. Hertig. You made high school a lot of fun, and you know, you helped create a great soccer program there.
Thank you, Mrs. Parodi.
I would say, Ms. Roberts, thank you so much for everything, and for pushing me in class and pushing me to be a better person.
Thank you, Miss Williams. Hope you're doing great.
For it. Say ho! Phoenix Rising! A backflip to boot! And it's all turning up goals. Oh, the audacity! Early fireworks at Wild Horse Pass.
Welcome to Tampa Bay. And he drills it. Wow! What a goal!
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Halftime here at Wild Horse Pass, 2-0 to Phoenix Rising as San Antonio FC kept off the score sheet for another half against Phoenix Rising as we look around the USL Championship with news and notes. Of course, the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup is back this week. 5 championship teams remain. How many are getting through?
5.
That's impossible.
Not in my world.
I don't want to know what your world is.
Obviously Louisville and Detroit will separate themselves, and then Phoenix and Sacramento Republic. So I'll be polite and I'll say 3 because I think San Antonio has a chance of going through.
All right, they play Houston
Are you
on
a gamer,
the road.
by the way?
Sort of.
You dabble.
I dabble.
Dabbling's good
I
enough.
kind of used to be more than I am now, but this eFootball thing is awesome for the USL Championship to see the USL in the game. And looking at our scores from around the league, presented by Best Western. Surprising one, that
Monterey
top right,
Bay,
but also
though.
Monterey Bay,
Woo.
first home game, 1-0 over Las Vegas Lights.
The Fighting Frank Yallops. Have you seen the venue?
Looks beautiful.
It looks nice. You think that's surprising in the top right corner? You know what that is to me? That's a very cordial Detroit fans, get off your pedestal, as little as it was, and welcome to the championship. Because going to FC Tulsa and getting a result is a very difficult thing to do. This is reality. Join us.
And they have Lou City at home in the Open Cup coming up this week. Second half is also coming up here from Wild Horse Pass. It's 2-0 to Phoenix Rising.
You might have heard of Carvana and that we sell cars online. What you probably didn't know is that we're in the business of making you happy. We believe buying a car should be something that gets you hyped up. That you should be empowered to shop when you want, where you want, wearing whatever you want. And that your new car ought to come with newfound happiness and zero surprises. So we promise that we'll treat you right, we'll put you in control, and all of us will stop at nothing to drive you happy.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
This is Sanderson Ford Country.
All roads lead to Sanderson Ford, celebrating 67 years with a huge anniversary sale. Save on hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles, including Mustang Mach-E's, Broncos, Escapes, Explorers, and lots of trucks. Order your new Ford your way and save an additional $1,000. Doing business for 67 years with no hassle, no pressure, no nonsense, and no added markups. Follow the road to the Sanderson Ford 67th anniversary sale.
Pacific Office Automation is the one source for all of your business technology. Copiers and printers. Managed IT and cloud services. Unified communications and telephones. Security systems and cameras. Complete conference room packages. You need to partner with a total office solutions provider that gets it. Pacific Office Automation. Problem solved.
Hello, I am Jose Luis Cruz Rivera, President of Northern Arizona University. We are a proud sponsor of Phoenix Rising. NAU and Phoenix Rising have much in common. We're both building on a strong foundation of success. We are both champions in our own fields, and we both strive for excellence. At NAU, we offer the advantages that come with a higher education to all of the members of our community. We are helping our students build a bright and boundless future for themselves, their families, and their communities. Come visit us at NAU and go Rising.
Tonight's match is brought to you by Carvana, NAU, Four Peaks Brewing Company, and Arizona Federal. Highlights from the first 45 minutes of action, and things got started right off the bat, but both goalkeepers really came to play.
I love the perception here and how it can differ, because within the game I said it's a poor giveaway by Arturo Rodriguez. Our producer just had a good shout. Why does Ben Loot even force the pressure here when he's got guys on the backside of Arturo, puts him in a bad spot? Immediately, San Antonio get on the front foot, and this is what their entire identity is based upon. But a great response from Phoenix Rising coming the other direction. Santi Moar denied on the back post, and Jordan Farr then denies Marcus Epps on the back post. Haymakers from the beginning, back and forth, Josh.
And then it would be San Antonio, and they forced so many great chances, just not able to get one past Ben Luntz.
You're wondering if you're Alan Marcina, is this going to be one of those nights where we were so close, but we just couldn't put him in, right? This team averages, I just talked about this as well in the production room, just under 6 shots on target per game. They did that in the first half. Phoenix Rising replicated the same thing, so you got a 2 for special on that little buy one, get one free 45 minutes in. And then you go back to work if you're Phoenix Rising. Babakar Jai, smartly done here because he recognizes that the greatness of the Scotsman up top has provided himself enough of a circumference to get on a half turn, and more importantly, put them ahead by 2. Beautiful finish by Greg Hurst before halftime.
And then it would be Ben Lunt forced into another intervention. Just tap this out of play. And that'll bring us to the end of the half. But you could look at these stats and say these are full-time stats, but we're only halfway through.
It's a beautiful performance by both teams, moving in a positive direction. Discussing defensively what needs to change, because both back lines struggled a little bit, right? So the back four for Phoenix Rising, they're having trouble with rotation, and there's just too much space in between them. The back three of San Antonio, they're actually set up well. They're just not sure when to step and when not to. So the space between them and the midfield has been a little bit confusing. That comes down to communication for both squads if they want to have success here and shore it up in the second half.
Well, we are back underway here at Wild Horse Pass with Devin Kerr. I'm Josh Eastern, our entire crew here with you. 2-0 to Phoenix Rising. Greg Hurst has now scored half of his USL Championship goals in this game today. He's up to 4 on the season now. And Ben Lunt, we talked about the goalkeepers coming in, has now made 5 saves in 2 games since April 17th. That first one was against New Mexico United. Lunt has put in a great performance tonight, but San Antonio, they have been really dangerous coming forward. Nicky Hernandez has been a big part of that. He has created 3 chances in this game. It's more than anybody else. We'll see if they can finally get one by Ben Lunt. Of course, the San Antonio side coming off that 6-goal performance against Monterey Bay last week. 6 different goal scorers as well. They've looked very capable tonight. It's a foul on the far side with Epps coming down. A free kick for Phoenix, and it looks like a yellow card will be shown as well.
Easy enough for the referee, right? Oh boy. Mitchell Tainer. It is insult to injury on the tackle by Mitchell Tainer. The only one in this entire 11 that has actually played the same position the entire year. It's kind of odd to even say, but that's what this team has been dealing with through all of their injuries. As mentioned, 9 separate players with at least 1 game.
Little give and go. Jai with the cross, and it was just cut out. Talk about all those injuries, and yet this is the 2nd best start in their club's history. They're in 2nd place in the Western Conference, and now they're starting to get healthy, although they're still missing likes of Carter Manley and Santiago Patino, who was a potent goal scorer last year. A really big opportunity for this San Antonio team to keep improving.
That threw me for a curve, by the way, going through our weekly notes that we jot down, and the great Nicholas Murray at USL headquarters is kind enough to compile that it's their 2nd best start in team history. It's actually tied for the 2nd best start in league history, because the best start in league history resides within San Antonio, that 2017 squad that went 14 games unbeaten. The only change in the opening 8 games, they had a draw instead of a loss. They drew against Colorado Springs, which is kind of funny, that the irony within all of that.
Of course, their only blip on the radar this year is against this Phoenix Rising team. Here they come into the attack again. Turning the corners, Arturo Rodriguez, the cross, and the shot was just off the mark. Have to see who got the final touch on that. Shannon Gomez was in there defensively. Moar on the doorstep once again for Phoenix.
Just wide open once again through the channels, everything as thin as you spread yourself. If you're Alan Marcina in San Antonio, you still have to find a way to have coverage, and they're still willing to gamble with Connor Maloney and Shannon Gomez at the wingbat spots respectively. Within that, you have to be careful because the pace is at such a high-end speed when you look at guys like Santi Moar and Marcus Epps. Oh, so careful if you're one of the back 3.
Phoenix asking for a deflection, and now they'll get it. Corner kick coming for the home side. Corner number 6 in the first of this second half. Here's Aiden Quinn. Heads go up. Listri keeps it alive. Phoenix able to keep it here. Listri filling in tonight for Darnell King, who's out with red card suspension. San Antonio, whenever they win it back, they're always looking to go quick upfield. This one put right out of play. Here for San Antonio, trying to play through the lines. Maloney gets it out wide. Sliding challenge. Now it's Hernandez. Couldn't get it back in the middle. Goes with the back heel. And the shot is off the mark. Working in very tight spaces. And PC couldn't hit the frame.
I'm in disbelief. How can you not hit the target? It's the second time where you don't necessarily want to call this one a sitter, but watch this, just the Red Sea parts for PC. 7 yards out, even at that angle, you gotta put it on frame.
Now the referee having a quick chat here with Ben Lunt. Just telling him no more time wasting. San Antonio FC so far beating their total averages for shots. More shots on goal than their average, more shots in total than their average. Still nothing to show for it. PC.
Souvenir.
I don't think you can take him home, though.
That's a shame.
As long as the fans aren't participating in the time wasting.
Loon can't get in trouble anymore.
Joey Farrell, now partnering in central defense with Manuel Madrid after Kevin Lambert went out injured about the half-hour mark. Now it's Arturo Rodriguez. He's tripped up and fouled.
Card.
It's just outside the area, and it is a yellow card to Mo Abu.
It's got to be. Great move by Arturo Rodriguez. Mohamed Abu out of his comfort zone, and Arturo Rodriguez happy to drift out of the middle as he goes. Great acceleration of pace here. just slows down for a second, drops gears, and then immediately that acceleration to separate himself from Mohamed Abu. Abu doesn't recognize it, and all he gets is contact.
Now it's set piece right at the corner of the box. It's an interesting position. Aiden Quinn might fancy this on his left foot. Rodriguez runs away. This is all Aiden Quinn. It was dipping. Still there for Epps. How about Sejas? He scored from that distance just a few weeks ago against Miami. And he nearly found another one.
This is too close. This was too close for Louis Mott. There was a bit of hesitancy as to whether or not Epps was actually going to lay the ball back. And in doing so, his form just sort of started to move and tail away from the ball as he struck through it. That's why the English was up underneath it and moving away from him.
Hernandez dancing on the ball. Still Hernandez. Now he clips it into the middle, off the chest. Trying to recreate Greg Hurst and couldn't make it happen. Another chance, this coming from just outside the area. Maloney can find the frame of goal. I feel like San Antonio may be pressing a little bit here.
It seems a little frantic, though. There's not really any sort of rhythm to it. You know, in the first half, at least with the chances that were being created, outside of the fact that they were coming in droves, there was always a crispness about it. We don't see that here in the second half. It's almost like half chances that lead to a deflected ball that gives them an opportunity to possibly move forward. There's a lot of what ifs in that scenario, right? I like the fact that the cutoff ball into their sixes and that quick outlet right there, which although they picked this one up, has been taken away a ton in the second half so far.
Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand and proud to be the exclusive energy drink partner of Phoenix Rising. If you're ready to energize, visit cintronworld.com and join the vibe on social at Cintron World. Cheers. Played right through the middle. Failed clearance at first, now falls for Jai. Mowar thumps it clear. Quinn applying some pressure. Against him. Here's Garcia. Whips in a long cross, headed down and cleared. Down wide again. Low ball in, and nothing doing there for San Antonio. It's out for a goal kick. They're just looking for answers right now.
Any sort of redirect here for Elliot Collier is a win in his book because you can't let it run. Phoenix Rising had enough numbers in the box that would have been easily pushed aside, and yet the touch truly has to be world class in order to get anything on frame. They're struggling in the midfield right now, San Antonio. Started flat with Muhammad Abu, PC, and Nicky Hernandez. Abu has pretty much been the lone of the three down underneath.
All rolled in for Hurst. I think the flag is up for offside. Now the referee will just let play go on. Abu. Hurst slow to get back into the play. San Antonio don't mind that. They'll just keep going. Here's Gomez. Shannon Gomez. Switch the field. Another ball whipped in right in front. Lute is there again. He denies San Antonio once more. And that one right on the doorstep.
You could question the first two coming off the boot of PC and the difficulty level that was for Ben Lute, but not this one. Great job by the midfielder stepping up through. Arturo Rodriguez loses him. He's late to the party, but how about Ben Lute? Just apply any sort of pressure that you can, make yourself as big as possible, and comes up with another fantastic save.
And the first sub of the game will come for San Antonio FC. Alan Marcina putting into Shane Beckford for Nicky Hernandez. Hernandez, pretty dangerous game for him so far tonight. Really provided some good moments for San Antonio in that first half. Another intervention, and this one cleared away. We saw a stat earlier, the record for Phoenix Rising when they score first, unbeaten. I think it was their last 33. I'll raise you one. When they're leading at halftime, they're unbeaten their last 48.
High score. I have to imagine with the addition of Beckford onto the field here, this is going to change the shape a little bit too. A lot of times you'll see them just go two within the midfield. And PC and Muhammad Abu more side by side, and what that allows the front line to do is it's more of a three-headed monster. But specifically with Justin Dillion and Elliot Collier, now you have two of them that can come down in to the space in front of the back four of Phoenix Rising at any point in time that they want. Previously it was just a one and then one working off. Beckford will usually play higher up on the left-hand side, and then those two try and work against the other two center backs.
Collier dispossessed. It's a corner kick coming for San Antonio.
Your attention, please. Jeff Hughes. Please meet your son at the medical tent located in the southwest corner of the
Jeff's
stadium.
in trouble.
Jeff Hughes. Please meet your son at the
The
medical
in-swinger.
tent located in the southwest
Let's go up at the
corner of
back post
stadium.
this time. Switch of play. Tainter.
You ever get called over the loudspeakers at a stadium or in a store?
I don't think I have.
Anything that we can talk about, at least.
I think everything's kosher, but I don't think I have.
Okay.
I don't think I've gone astray from my parents.
Not yet, you're young.
Still many more years, so we hope. Here's Garcia. Gomez trying to turn the corner. Jai brought him down. And a yellow card. There was some sort of contact there.
This reminds me a lot of the contact that occurred between Nicky Hernandez and Sejas in the first half. Again, the arm's away from the body for sure. It is right in front of the referees. How much contact actually occurs? They do connect. It is a foul, as frustrating as it might be for that young man. It's a good look at Juan Lambert, the academy director who's taken over for Nick Evans and goalkeeping coach for San Antonio FC. Nick Evans, of course, there from its inception, still really good friends with Alan Marcina and everything that's going on there. Just a personal decision. They still see each other daily. Had to make sure he was able to take care of his family first and foremost. Can fully understand the decision to do that. One's completely different, though. The great thing about him that Alan Marcina says is he never turns off. There's no switch. 100 miles an hour all the time, always looking new directions, new routes. How do we make the team better?
Speaking of routes, I got a score update for you in just a moment. Garcia whips this in. San Antonio trying to keep this possession alive. Lofting this into the box. It's taken by Ben Lunt. A full time from Orange County. Orange County led 2-0 at halftime. 2 late goals, including a 90+4 equalizer for Oakland Roots, and they steal a point in Irvine.
The land of a million draws. I give Longera a lot of credit.
Here comes Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to get onto his right foot, and now it deflects out of play. Looks like a corner kick will be given. Arturo Rodriguez still having words with Kalen Radisov.
It's from behind, but does he establish the position underneath? That's the question here as he turns him around. Great move. Oh, it's really difficult. So I have a problem with this because how is the attacker supposed to know where the pressure's coming from? He steps in front, don't see any connection on the ball, right? If he points to the spot there, I don't have an issue with it.
I thought I saw a little touch on the ball.
But again, you can't defend like that.
Farr just has to tip this away. Almost an Olympico.
In my world, it's not a penalty.
Okay.
In the world that we live in, you could understand why.
Yep. I think the referee, though, always looks for the touch on the ball. And sometimes with so many feet in there, it's tough.
Yeah, again, what I go back to is if I'm Arturo Rodriguez and I make the move and I cut back to my right, as I bring my right peg back to try and swing through, in whatever motion that is, and someone steps in front of me, I can't see that.
Correct. Quinn. Jai moves it along.
Substitutions for Phoenix.
Couple of substitutions coming now for Phoenix Rising. The first one, Richmond Antwi will be coming on for Marcus Epps. And the second one is the Phoenix Rising debut for Sievert Haugli. He'll replace Santi Moar. Be a defensive-minded substitution here for Phoenix Rising. Able to shuffle the deck a little bit. Haugli on loan from the Portland Timbers. Norwegian out of Oslo and Virginia Tech. His Phoenix Rising debut here at home.
This will most definitely tweak that back line into a 3 with Farrell, Haugli, and Manu Madrid. The question's going to be is who's going to sit in between all of them. Reinforcements with Antwi coming on, that'll help on the outside. With Joey Calistri in there as well, how high do you allow this to progress? I have to imagine you would leave Antwi up top.
Antwi not a ton of experience, has only played 2 minutes so far this season. Heavy challenge coming in, and now it's Greg Hurst. He latches onto this. It took him all the way to the end line. Cross floated in. Garcia, all he can do is head this out of play. Jordan Farr with the word for the referee now. Jai came flying in there. Player down, you can see in the background is PC.
What are you going to do about it? Babukar Jai is saying as things start to heat up here. Mitchell Taintor doesn't like the tackle either. It was late into it. Watch the stunts. Oh boy, that swinging motion. How is this not a foul? I have no problem with the initial contact, but watch the right leg afterwards. Right there, I mean, that's dangerous. This is at least a yellow card.
Is there an argument for even red for you? It's high and with force.
It's high, it's with force. There's no reason for the second leg to come through is where the biggest issue that I have.
And the referee let it go on. Phoenix had more possession.
I mean, that is, look at that. I mean, you can see it from here already.
Right at Babukar Jai.
Again, I don't fault Babukar Jai for the initial tackle. And the problem you have as a player is sometimes, Josh, when you step in, your natural tendency, based upon the positioning of your hips and coming through on it, will actually make you rotate in that fashion. You have to resist that urge, though. You've got to find a way as you come through to line up differently. So when you push through, it's the tackle and you come with one leg, and that second leg has to stay behind you. The other problem you run into is if that happens, now you're studs up on one foot. So it's all about timing and how do you best judge this. But watch that right leg as it comes back through. It's very dangerous.
And there is the red card shown by Kalin Radisov, or pardon me, a second yellow given to Babukar Jai. Nonetheless, that is the end of his night tonight. So Phoenix down to 10 men. Second straight game that a player's been sent off now for Phoenix Rising. Today it's Babukar Jai who will miss next week's game now against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. But the interesting part about this is play continued on with Phoenix Rising in possession.
Yeah,
there was no...
Almost like you let an advantage play on coming off the tackle.
But that's the opposite way around, though.
The other argument I would have for you, though, is if the referee immediately turns his head and just thinks it's a normal tackle, give the benefit of the doubt here to the head referee for a second. You know I'm the first one to call him out, right? If he's already turning his head and that ball comes back up over the top, that's on the fourth official and the AR to have a conversation here.
McShant's also given a yellow card and egging the crowd on. Substitution here. We'll see David Luera come on. His return here to Wild Horse Pass. Of course, spent time on loan a year ago with Phoenix Rising. This ball sent in, bouncing through. So now San Antonio with the man advantage. PC has come off. And Luera is on, the Spaniard. Antwi. Still plenty of time left for San Antonio to get right back in this game. Here's Luera. Luera. Fall to the top of the area. The shot comes on and just wide. Right off the chest there for Deshane Beckford. Almost running into his teammate there at the top of the area. Maybe put him off just a bit. Well, if you're San Antonio, do you change what you've been trying to do now with the man advantage?
My immediate answer would be no. The difference is what are they trying to do in the second half? You're in the 75th minute, and is there any sort of resemblance of what went on in the opening 45? They certainly haven't been as direct. I give a lot of credit to what Phoenix has been able to set themselves up like on the other side of the ball. They dropped a little bit deeper. Greg Hurst was really the only one up top, and so underneath, they've flattened out what at that point in time was a midfield four. Couldn't play through when they went up over and tried to be direct. Everyone on the back line for Phoenix Rising was already set up because you basically slow down the initial ball out. Then they have to think for a second, and that's when you end up with a ball hit up over the top with a prayer. And so I go back to the beginning of it. If it was like the first half, no, I'm not changing anything. The quality, though, is nowhere near what we've seen throughout this game. So who wants to go and finish this thing off? The width of the field has struggled. Maloney has slowly faded from it. Shannon Gomez was going to be another one. Of course, Joof's going to come in. Don't be surprised if you see either one of them flip-flop sides here now.
Abu. He's headed back centrally. Now Luera. The in-swinging cross. Possessed there right at the top of the six and then cleared away. San Antonio with just one shot on target in this second half. Another ball sent in. A foul there in the middle. We'll send it back the other way to Phoenix. The best play on a new Ford is at Sanderson Ford, Arizona's largest Ford dealership. Further that point, the first half we saw 31 combined shots, 12 of them on target.
That's it.
That's it. In the second half, we've seen 8 combined shots, and just one of them has found the frame of goal. Rodriguez from a really tough angle forces another save out of Jordan Farr, and a corner kick for Phoenix Rising.
He's been quiet tonight in the sense that he hasn't produced as many chances as other players around him, but he's been really good off the ball, creating space without it at his feet. As we've moved into the second half here, he has started to go it alone in more one-on-one situations.
Another in-swinger, Quinn, right at Farr. San Antonio trying to go quickly. Luera. Joof. Back for Luera. Gets the cross away to the back post. It's a corner kick for San Antonio.
If I'm Alan Marcina here, I'm asking my team to pick their heads up and have more intent in their actions right now. It's been 7 minutes since the red card, and that's the best chance that they've had so far. Hats off to Phoenix Rising, but there's no reason, especially the way that they play, that's the talking point. There's got to be more intensity here in the final 10 if you want to give yourself a chance.
In swinger, Lute. Got caught in no man's land there, and it was headed out wide. It's not something you want to necessarily be good at, but Phoenix has learned how to play with 10 men now quite a bit over the last few weeks. It might end up being a full 90 minutes, about an hour last week and just under a half hour here tonight.
As he came into traffic, Ben Loon got stepped on. Another opportunity, though, for Jasser Kamiri that, forget San Antonio for a second. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw this many chances in front of goal squandered, right? Mentioned to you 20, 25 minutes in, you don't want to look back and go, hey, what if? We've officially reached that point.
Loose pass, and it's picked off. It's Collier. For some width. Cutting in field. This eludes the frame of goal again, but it did take a deflection. It's a corner kick coming. So no more subs remaining for San Antonio. Still one more window available for Phoenix in which they can make 2 subs with 10 minutes to go. Kamiri, those big center backs come forward again. And Garcia. His service. All the way through for Loera. Gonna go back for Garcia. His header comes central. Antwi got his head on it. Here comes Phoenix. Arturo Rodriguez. Just enough to take him off the ball by Deshane Beckford. Here comes Beckford. Hopeful ball up over the top. It's a long night at the office for those center backs with those 2 target forwards in Collier and Dillon that can really get physical up there.
I'm exhausted just watching it.
Yeah.
And now they're down to 10, right? Heavy responsibility. Joey Farrell has played very well, though.
To the end line and out of play. And speaking of Joey Farrell, he's the only player that has played every minute this year as an outfield player. Has not been subbed off in the USL Championship match so far this season. Big shifts have been put in by number 15.
I can remember sitting here with you early 21 talking about how some of his performances just, they weren't the same anymore. He was off. For me, probably one of the best players in a Phoenix Rising uniform over the past 18 months.
Sure.
He's been that good. Just put it to another level. Leadership capability and the vocal attributes that he brings have pushed itself to another level. And then you bring in the skill sets that he's able to pursue every single time he steps on the field. His distribution has gone up a notch. His tactical understanding of when they play in the 4, when they play in a 3, the ability to step off the back line. We know what he can do on set pieces. If I was a Phoenix Rising fan, I'd be giving a lot of praise to that young man.
So much movement around him, especially coming into this season at left back, the other center back position with Musa out injured.
Tonight, King's out.
Right. It's another new player. Well, not new, but at least he's been there for a while.
New enough.
Yeah.
And yet his performances remain constant. You can understand why they lean on him so much.
Here's Joof. Garcia shapes the cross in, immediately headed clear by Madrid. Abu. Luera, time starting to run thin here on San Antonio. Lofted up for Garcia. Nearly fell for Collier, and he couldn't get a foot on it. Some heavy legs out there for both sides at the moment. Sejas.
How good does his acquisition look now, by the way?
Sejas. Oh, yeah.
6, 8, 10, wingback.
4 goals.
Ridiculous. 4 ridiculous goals.
Rodriguez working his way in. Here's Antwi. Dispossessed, and then a foul and a card.
There's an impact level for Sejas that come along with some of those goals that he scored. The mentality that it gives to a team. Something that Test Joof is hoping that he can provide a spark for in the final couple minutes here. It's gone a bit stagnant in the second half for San Antonio.
Still time to change that. Phoenix not making it easy. Luera. Looking for a little flick. Almost fell for Garcia. Abu wins it back and keeps it alive. Luera. Beckford. Gets the cross in. Still bouncing through, and Farrell there to head it out. Corner kick for San Antonio. And 2 subs coming on for Phoenix Rising. Claudio Repetto, along with Jonathan Levin, will come on. Luis Manuel Sejas, alongside Greg Hurst. The reason it is 2-0 is because of Greg Hurst and 2 really well-taken goals.
Nine minutes apart tonight for Greg Hurst. First one that comes up over the top. What a great ball played back across by Marcus Sepps, and the first timer for Santimor off the deflection finds Greg Hurst, and the opening goal for Phoenix Rising in the 26th minute. Bit before the red card. Good ball by Babukar Jai into the soft feet, quick-wittedness of the Scotsman that sees him double the lead just 9 minutes later. And for his efforts on his way out, outside of the brace, a yellow card. Just chalk another one up for a great performance in Greg Hurst up top.
So a yellow card there to Hurst on the way off as Garcia gets set for the corner kick. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Little flick. To play for a throw-in. Deflected down again. Alan Marcina. Hands flying up into the air, and now a transitional moment for Phoenix. Can they put this away? Antwi sends the shot wide. He had Aiden Quinn running with him. Repetto just behind him.
Aiden Quinn's letting him know too, you got to let this thing fly to the back post. Especially with the chance that you're taking overexposing on the counterattack with Aiden Quinn coming off his defensive duties. Play that thing in, even if you just dink it in, obviously you want the ball on the ground, Josh, but even if you just dink it to the back post, you got Aiden Quinn. He's gonna cut that thing across his body first time, put it on the left foot, and then let fly.
It's Fabian Garcia who stands over this set piece again. 90th minute here at Wild Horse Pass. Game this has been so far. Phoenix down to 10 men. Garcia curls it in. Heads go up again, and this out of play. This has not happened tonight for San Antonio. Marcina looking for answers. They are now 5 minutes away as we get a stoppage time. Their second loss of the season, both of them at the hands of Phoenix Rising.
This is such an interesting tactical breakdown when you look at the statistics, Josh, of where the threats came from, how they were able to get on the end of them. Shots are 23-22 in favor of San Antonio. Shots on target, they both have 7. Inside the box, 15-13 in favor of San Antonio. You know, it's final third entries, touches in the opposition box. All of this is either dead even or slanted just a touch to the boys in the white jerseys, and yet they're down 2-0. It goes to show you that sometimes it's not your night and there's no magic. A lot of credit to Ben Lunt and what he's been capable of getting done here, but even more so, just the quality overall. You can look at Greg Hurst for sure, but the people that came alongside it to create those opportunities to help finish it off. San Antonio did almost the exact same thing, maybe even a bit more so than we've seen out of Phoenix Rising. They have nothing to show for it.
San Antonio coming in again. Abu keeps it alive. Maloney. Now the shot from distance, and this sails well out of play. From a Phoenix perspective, you kind of look at what happened last week and say, all right, maybe that was just a blip in the radar coming off that 6-game winning streak to then put together another performance like this. Take care of your chances in the first half and then see it out here in the second. Still 3 minutes to go, but getting closer and closer to a 6th win in this USL Championship regular season.
Remember, including Open Cup, this was obviously the win back on April 2nd that started that whole revolution within the team. Rick Schantz telling us that kind of an eye-opener at certain areas where he always knew that this team had the technical talent to get the job done, but the desire to dig a little bit deeper than some of his other squads had, compared them to the 2018 team. Of course, one that USL Championship and Phoenix Rising fans should remember fondly. That was the final season for Didier Drogba and his storied professional career. More importantly for Phoenix fans, that was the year that they made it all the way to the final, falling just short to Louisville City. In that 1-0 game, the goal by Luke Spencer, 62nd minute. And as that carried forth, it's almost like no matter what we do, we can go get a result. It's similar to what San Antonio told us coming in, that they just wanted to find a way to win. And sometimes that doesn't go your way. And that's okay. If I'm a San Antonio fan, I may be frustrated by some of the things that have gone on tonight. Maybe the formula was a bit off in the second half, but you can't be upset at the effort put forth in the first. Too many chances created, you just didn't finish. Sometimes that's what it comes down to.
One chance here, it's blocked down. Joof deflected to the back post, is bouncing out of play. It'll be a corner kick coming for San Antonio, about a minute left. You mentioned what's to come for San Antonio, and much like Phoenix, this is another huge week for them. 3 straight road matches starting tonight, then at Houston Dynamo in the Open Cup, and then at Miami FC next Saturday. Loera's corner kick. Levin gets it clear.
Josh, I'll take it one step further. They're playing 5 of 6 on the road in an area that, although it's definitely gotten better, took a huge step in 2021. Certainly not where they'd like to be. 3 wins in 19, 3 wins in 20, 7 last year.
Well, Antwi, he might take this for himself now. Antwi around the goalkeeper, and he puts it away. His first goal to Phoenix Rising shirt will surely give Phoenix Rising all 3 points. Back to winning ways for Phoenix Rising.
After the red card, which way was the pendulum going to swing? 72nd minute, changes made immediately. Who was going to be the next man up to help them out? All hands on deck. They batten down the hatches. Defensively, it's been great. And would there be one more special moment for this team to put the cherry on top? Absolutely. It comes from Antwi at the end. The vision's been there since the beginning. And back-to-back victories assured against one of the best in the Western Conference.
And that is all for Wild Horse Pass. A resounding victory for Phoenix Rising. Rick Schatz all smiles, as it should be here, with a big win for Phoenix tonight. They needed something to get back on track, and there is our man of the match presented by Phoenix Children's Hospital. It is Greg Hurst. And of course, a brace for Hurst tonight. Those were the 2 goals that Phoenix needed. They got 1 more at the end.
Prelude of what's to come between these Western Conference wonders. San Antonio, you thought maybe they had taken the reins to run away from it in the Western Conference. Phoenix Rising twice this year has said not so fast. Remember, we are the kings that have worn the crown. You want a shot at the title, you got to make it through us first, and unsuccessfully so far in their first 2 attempts.
So Phoenix wins the season series by 5-0. They win it tonight 3-0. We'll come back and wrap things up. Phoenix victorious at home.
Lerner & Rowe is proud to be the official personal injury attorneys of Phoenix Rising. Our goal is getting you all the money you deserve. When you're in a wreck and need a check, make 1 call, that's all, to Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
At Arizona Federal, our passion is to help out the community where you live and work, because where you bank should make you feel good. Show your support for the home team with the Phoenix Rising Visa debit card. When you open a new account, you can score $100 just for using your card when you shop. How's that for an easy goal? Be a part of our commitment to the community. Arizona Federal Credit Union.
Appreciation for the home fans shown by Phoenix Rising tonight right in front of the South End. 3-0 winners over San Antonio FC. Time to look back at these 90 minutes with our full-time highlights. That man right there, Greg Hurst, had a lot to say about it. as we start in the 26th minute, and this is when the goal scoring would get started for Phoenix.
Start strong, finish strong. That's exactly what went on for Phoenix Rising here. They traded blows at the beginning of the match, but first blood is pulled by Greg Hurst off the deflection from Santi Moar. He's trying to pick out the far post. Greg Hurst had other ideas, up 1-0.
And then the chances keep on coming, and this probably the best of the bunch.
Smart little ball, and we've given a lot of credit to Greg Hurst and his ability to pull this down and pick out the far corner, rightfully so. How about Babakar Jai looking up and saying, I can drop this into him because I've seen it so many times before in training. He makes his compatriot proud. They double their lead. Fast forward to the second half, chances continue to come. Where would the deadlock be broken? Well, this is almost broken leg. This is a heck of a challenge put forth by Babakar Jai. His second yellow. He picked up 2 in an 8-minute span. He's packing Phoenix Rising down to 10.
And then towards the end, it was Jordan Farr forced into another couple of saves here from Arturo Rodriguez. Another bright night in goal for Farr. And then right at the end, the one to put it away for Richmond Antwi.
Great stretching of the game, and you wondered with the ball at his feet, I didn't think he was going to be able to do it. Understand that, yes, there's tired legs out there, but man moves faster by his lonesome. Nobody told Richmond Antwi that. Phoenix Rising bag another one just at the tail end of this match. I give them credit. They have 5 second-half goals this season. The only 2 teams that have more are FC Tulsa and Oakland Roots. I say that because those are 2 teams known for the dramatics and closing games out. Phoenix Rising doesn't necessarily always have to do that. And yes, they're on a 2-0 lead, but the fact that at the end, even with one player who had just come on at the end of the match, willing to stretch it and apply the daggering blow that was Richmond Antwi, hats off, credit, another beautiful performance by Phoenix Rising.
23 shots, the most this season for Phoenix in the USL Championship. That'll do it for our coverage tonight from Wild Horse Pass. For our entire crew, broadcast partner Devin Kerr, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long. It finishes Phoenix Rising 3, San Antonio 0. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.